Welcome back to the program, everyone. This is the morning brief. Bukola, you have this one.
Yes, indeed, Kelly. And so Oyinkansola Badejo Okusoya is now the NBA president after polling 12,317 votes to emerge winner. And of course, the process was done electronically, lasting 24 hours. And so many would say this is a clear, decisive win for the second female to lead the organization. Let's examine the process now. And joining us this morning is another legal practitioner himself, Libros Oshomah, who joins us virtually on the program. Mr. Oshomah, good morning. Welcome to the morning brief.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for having me, Bukola.
I wonder where your vote went over the weekend, but you don't have to tell us that one. But just talk to us about the process and, of course, the fact that this is the second female to lead the organization. A clear, decisive win, wouldn't you say, based on the results?
Yes, a lot of people saw it coming, and it was obvious that it was going to go this way, especially since the electronic voting had been introduced. I think this should be the fifth one. And you find out that most of the younger lawyers who are technology savvy, it's easy, very easy for them, to go through this process seamlessly, unlike the older lawyers. So the older lawyers are still agitating for, the old process, the process of manual voting, gathering in one place, and all of. So there's always a question raised about this process, even right from the days of, as I can remember, right from the days of Ukpoko SAN as NBA president. There's always been complaint, oh, the process was marred with irregularity. Remember Olani Beku's own, there were complaints. Olusoros' own, there were complaints. Even Olu's own, some people went to court. Even the NBA, if you remember, the NBA Ikeja branch during Ubani's time, they went to court also, approached the court, and eventually, that one was decided just by one vote. So until this electronic process was introduced at the national level, and there's always been complaint. And then I would give it to Oyinkansola Badejo Okusoya, SAN. She went round. While she was busy going around, campaigning and talking to different branches, others were busy in court in Ibadan, complaining that the process should be truncated, that they have microzoned the position to their candidate, and only that candidate should be allowed to contest. I did complain in that court one day that if we, as lawyers, that we see politicians go to court after election or before election and we complain, this shouldn't be coming from the bar profession, that we are complaining also, or we are microzoning, that it was indeed shameful. But I was shouted down because I'm not a senior advocate. That's but today, the results have shown, and like every process, because Nigeria is not technology domicile. We are learning it. So like every process here, certainly you're going to have these complaints of, yes, because of the crowd or the rush at that time, it was difficult for everybody to vote at the same time. Even America, I remember the first Trump first tenure, there were a consistent investigation to find out if indeed their process was hacked. And mind you, some of the people that are complaining today were the same people who were very happy when the process could not commence, at the beginning, when the ECMBA did say that the process was hacked, that their server was, there was an attempt to hack their server. So some of them were complaining, yes, we have said it, that these people are not capable of delivering credible election. But when the process eventually commenced, these were the same people that were complaining, oh, we can't vote, they didn't allow us to vote, as if, every SCN number carries the candidate you want to vote for. As if, once they see your number, they know, okay, yes, this person wants to vote for this candidate. So all the candidates suffered the whatever glitches or whatever, technological crisis that the process had. All of them suffered it. So it's always the case of the loser saying, no, the process was marred with irregularity. And then I also listened to the statement. I read the statement of my very good friend, somebody I respect very well, Okutepa, saying he has lost complete hope and confidence. Why won't he? Because he is the one who is leading the team of the opposition. He was their lead counsel in the court in Ibadan and at the Court of Appeal also. So certainly I expected such a statement from him. They were the ones that said the process should not hold and that it should be postponed until after the tenure of this administration, of this current Afam Osigwe's administration, so that we will come back to what we had with the MBA in 1992. Because some people have said, why is it always that when a woman is contesting and she's, you know, she's almost breasting the tape, then we have these issues of, no, look, let's postpone the election and in all of those crises. So, but unfortunately, the ECMBA has been able to break that jinx, and then election had held. You know, some people voted in Canada, voted in London, America, and the rest. Once you are a lawyer, you don't have to be physically present somewhere. You don't have to be physically present somewhere, just like we used to have it before, where ballot box will be snatched. I saw the last election of, not this one, not this current last one, the one before last of the NMA, where the media, in fact, the media made a mincemeat of them because of what transpired. So that's what, we don't want that for the NBA. And so I would say, despite the challenges, kudos to the ECMBA and kudos, the process, you know, was without its challenges, but at least it was far better than it was before. And I repeat, I reiterate, I think INEC should begin to look at how to, you know, copy such processes and make it better.
Mr. Oshomah, well,
yes.
I'm not sure how INEC will be taking that, especially looking at the fact that your election, the NBA elections, has been surrounded by lots of controversies, as we're seeing. 26,000 plus registered, sorry, 82,000 plus registered, only 26,000 eventually voted. And there are those who are wondering, perhaps, why did the other more than 40-something thousand, why didn't they vote? Could it be as a result of some of the issues that played out? That's on the one hand. And then what indeed are the options for the candidates, Mr. Olumiwa and Mr. Lateef? What are the options? Because Mr. Lateef, I hear, has rejected the results. What are the options for both candidates, please?
First and foremost, let me address the issue of voting. I have lawyers in chambers who said they don't have a candidate, and so they were not going to vote. I have some lawyers who said, well, they will just vote for one person and then leave the other process. It's not every, in fact, all through the period, if you look across various NBA platforms, there were messages encouraging people to try and vote, that because of the numbers, that the process seems slow at some point. Even me, I know how long it took me for me to get my OTP, but I was patient because I actually wanted to exercise my franchise. So for some persons, they couldn't wait that long. They just felt, look, I can't wait this long. And there was a time the network was actually very jam-packed. And mind you here, like I said, Nigeria is not a technology-based, you know, country. Our technology is borrowed, and so whatever it is, there are still many challenges. And until there are improvements, certainly you're not going to, you know, have this seamless process. And then on the issue of challenging the process, we all know we're very litigious people. Starting from the market woman to National Union of Road Transport Workers to politicians to everybody. Once we have indirectly handed over our leadership selection process to court. I was in the studio the last time and we talked about court judgment on political matters. And so it is also very shameful that, you know, for MBA people, you know, lawyers, over leadership selection, who will want to go to court. The only option that is left for them, somebody said that we shouldn't be surprised that by this morning we'll be seeing court papers flying everywhere. Even before the election, there were court papers flying everywhere. There were two cases, you know, in Ibadan. One by Egbe Amofin and then the Yoruba Cultural Lawyers Group. Even though not all of them agreed with the processes. And then another one by, you know, former MBA chairman of Ibadan branch. You know, so they were already in court. challenging this process and not wanting to go on. So certainly the only place they can return to also is the court, and then the court has its own way of dealing with this issue. But like I have said, I think I want to see a day in Nigeria where elections would hold, and at the end of the election, you know, the losers will shake hands with the winners and say, we agree that the process was not all 100% perfect, but the collective is better, is greater than individual, and so we'll just, you know, go to, but we'll make recommendations and say, you know, this result, there's need to audit the back end. And another good thing was that all of the contestants all have their technical support team also with the back end team. So they all saw what happened. They were all there. It's not as if they locked them out and say, okay, look, we're just going to have, you know, the technical team of the ECMBA. All of the contestants also had their technical teams, you know, also seated, just like agents monitoring the process. So, but the court had dealt with this before, and the business of lawyers to go to court. And so I would, even though I would advise that they let this go, and others, but it is my advice is just will rest in the realm of advice. And then to INEC also is an advice to them whether they want to improve or not. And I know the politicians will not want to, because if you do this, the question would be about those places, the villages where you can hardly get what do you call it, electronic voting processes.
Mr. Oshomah, in fact, when that election was going on, I think on Friday, when I was hosting one of the candidates, later on I got a message from a lawmaker when we're trying to, the back and forth between me and one of the candidates, the lawmaker said, and these are the people that want to nominate INEC chairman, literally taking a swipe at lawyers, that your election is already heated up. You're just 82,000. So, but let's unpack it in bits. First, I did have a conversation with people who understand the technology end, and one of the things they said, I don't know whether it's correct, is that it wasn't hosted on a dedicated back end. Let me just use a layman's term. So when there's surge inquiry, those delays happen. Some people, before they could get their OTPs, 1 hour, 2 hours, even 4 hours, and then when they get the OTP rejection, but eventually some of them, a lot of people were able to vote, but the turnout is lower than what was expected, 33%, as against the average of over 50. So I just wanted to put that out there. Maybe you can comment on it. But more importantly, is this issue of zoning. In fact, I was having a conversation with a lawyer, but correct me if I'm wrong, that said when it comes to the issue, Southwest, for instance, it's not as if other elections don't have issues, but Southwest, whenever it comes to their turn, there's always this problem of zoning.
Yes.
So you comment on that as well. And what is this? So in the Electoral Act, for instance, there's consensus and there are people coming out to, if you had screened as what's the name again?
Egbe
Amofi Odwa, if you are screened and these 3 persons are eminently qualified, they say we will go on whether you, because you're not the final arbiter, they have a right to contest. The natural thing is to let them go, but they wanted maybe a consensus candidate. Even the Electoral Act says consensus can only happen when everybody has agreed. So talk to us about the issue of this Southwest issue and this zoning problem that is plaguing the NBA.
Let me, as a lawyer, I will not I will not gloss over that statement by that lawmaker. The Waste Panel report did not, anywhere in that report, I have read it, you know, cover to cover, there was nowhere in that report that said NBA will nominate INEC chairman. What the report said was that the INEC chairman, a committee will be set up by, you know, all stakeholders committee to be headed by retired jurists. And then you will have politicians in that committee. And so because they are stakeholders, so the stakeholders will interview. Everybody can apply. And then the stakeholders will interview. And eventually they will recommend 3 persons to the president. So there was nowhere they said MBA would nominate. MBA can be a member. But if you look at, just oppose this election with the election, the national election conducted by the INEC, and the election that brought that lawmaker to office, you would say that this is more transparent than that one. So that's one on that side. And you know, yesterday I was talking to somebody and they said the same thing. Why is it that anytime this issue of zoning gets to the Southwest, there's always this issue of going to court. Like I said, we started seeing NBA Lagos go to court on election when it was Ubani's time, you know, during the NBA in Ikeja branch. We saw them go to court, you know, and some people said it was like the Southeast and the Southwest in that matter. When during the Olu's time, it was Southwest, and then the Midwest also was part of Southwest then. And we saw, was it additional and co? I don't know if additional went to court, but there were issues like this also. And others, there were always issues. And then that also started the process. Also, I will not fail to say that in Afam's case, some persons went to court too. My friend and classmate, I really can't remember his name now. The name is there ringing a bell in my head. He also went to court, and just about 2 weeks ago, the Court of Appeal, you know, threw away that matter. So it's not just the Southwest, but we hear the noise more from the Southwest, maybe because we're in Lagos, and you know, Lagos, Ibadan, Aziz, the bar is seemingly, you know, very vibrant and active here, and coupled with the fact that you have a lot of you know, media outlet here, so the news would filter everywhere. Unlike the one with Afam, the matter was in court, but it wasn't really that in the media. Maybe because, you know, of the vibrancy of those in the Southwest here. So that thing that's also, you know, lays credence to the fact that when it happens here, it is everywhere. And then on the issue of Egbe Amofi is not recognized anywhere by the NBA Constitution. NBA just recognize, you know, zonal bodies. They recognize zonal bodies. So Egbe Amofi or Dua is like, you know, Amofi, my friends, is Bamofi. I think that would refer to lawyers. So lawyers of the Egbe Odua, you know, wing. The issue is, like you have rightly noted, when you say it has been microzoned or it's been zoned to the Southwest, for that microzoning it will take away the beauty of the democratic process. I am happy that, you know, we had 3 candidates. It would have even been more. It would have been more. So it is not left for them. They can decide to screen 3, and more will say, well, I do not recognize Egbe Amofi. I am a member of the NBA, even though I'm from the Southwest, but I still want to contest. See, it's not compulsory that you must, you know, be part of Egbe Amofi, you know, to contest, provided it's been zoned to your region. So this idea, that was why also one of the reasons why the court case failed, because this idea of saying that you people have agreed. If you have agreed, was it everybody in Egbe Amofi that agreed? And although, mind you, the lawyers in the team, you know, some from Egbe Amofi, members of Egbe Amofi, were on the side of the NBA also, and then others on the other side. And in fact, after court, you see the banters, you now be asking yourself. Sometimes we all go out to eat together. So you now be asking yourself, so if we are disunited in court, why are we fighting over a simple election? Leadership, is there more to it? I kept wondering, till date I'm still wondering, is there more to it? Are there things I do not understand that is going on? But thank God the election had come and gone. And like I said, technology can be improved. There definitely will be challenges, but the process had come and gone. It is for us to take away those challenges that we have learned from this election and then improve on it subsequently. The challenges that we experienced in the last one are not the same thing that we have experienced in this one. There certainly improvement had been made, and improvement will consistently be made. And that's how you improve when you use technology. Yeah. And the beauty of it, when I read some lawyers who had traveled, sorry, quickly, Bukola, some lawyers who traveled and were happy that they could, you know, access the portal and vote. My friend and brother, Evans Ophili, is far away in Canada, and I listened to him saying he was happy that he could vote, you know, the moment the process began. Ordinarily, before now, it wouldn't have been possible. You will have to come and gather at the branch level to vote, and then midway, when the results are being collected, some will, get missing on the way, and some figures will be manipulated, like we see figures from collation centers at the from a voting polling unit to collation centers.
With so much internal disaffection and the litigations that you talked about before you addressed the matter of zoning, one would wonder about, you know, an organization that is supposed to uphold the rule of law having so many issues relating to that particular subject matter. But as we wind down now, I'd like you to address this one. And you referred to it earlier, you know, when you mentioned in passing how some challenges are peculiar to when a female contestant emerges, you know, to run for office. And many are asking, will Oyinkansola Badejo have a gender challenge? And some are saying, no, it's not necessarily going to be the case because we have, you know, the bench also being led by a woman. From where you sit, what will it look like for Badejo during her own tenure, being a female leader of the bar?
Yeah, I'm very happy that this has happened. We've broken the chains. You know, before now, what most senior lawyers do is a lot of, you know, male lawyers love practice. So they will send their wives to the bench while they remain in active practice. And so today, I'm very happy that most of our female lawyers are judges today, and they have shown their mettle, they have dominated, and they have shown that they cannot be pushed over. Also, you have FIDA. FIDA also is a body of female lawyers, and they have consistently maintained their own, and they are very strong association, Federation of International Women's Lawyers. You cannot, they are not pushover. And Oyinkansola also is somebody that had been around with MBA. She has played at state level. She has played at regional level. Also, she's been around. And the moment you are elected president, the issue of whether you're a man or woman, you know, it's no longer there. All she would need to do now, because most times you have female vice president, you have female treasurers and the rest, and you see them, you know, also move around. She has a big burden on her hand now. It's no longer about male or female, because that is why at the bar and the bench, everybody's addressed as my lord. So, and as it is now, Leonard Sik will have to go around first and foremost and reconcile, you know, as many lawyers as she can, and then try to build from where Afam Osigwe will stop, starting from the bar conference. There are so many promises she made during her manifestos and her campaign. A lot of people would want to see her actualize some of those promises, including, you know, investment by MBA to reduce the annual conference fee. So that's what people will be looking out for. The issue of whether she's a male or female, we've crossed that hurdle. We've seen it play out before. Even when the first female head of the MBA after that 1992, you know, crisis, our mother and the Sleden senior advocate, even at tenure, it was no longer about female, and Hirat Balogun. Until today, she's well respected across circle, in not just in Nigeria but in Africa. So also, whether this one is a female or male is at this stage immaterial, because now she's been elected. Those people who definitely have misgivings, her first duty will be to have to see how to reconcile the ones she can reconcile. And then a bigger constituency now is the entire bar, to see how, you know, she can elevate the bar and elevate the discourse, and also, you know, hold out the bar for not just the lawyers, but for Nigeria, because a lot of Nigerians look up to the MBA to speak for them. And that's why most times when things are happening, you say, oh, the MBA have not spoken. And so it will not longer be about MBA just issuing press statements. We also want to see, you know, the vibrant MBA that would be able to lead lawyers in, you know, either boycott or march or monitor elections, and then, you know, transparent process generally. So, you know, who says that it can't be? It will definitely happen.
Yeah, Mr. Oshomah, so as we wind down, let's talk about two things that you, in your proposal, maybe you feel she can do to help the NBA in terms of reputation, in terms of management of the practice itself? Because, permit me, forgive me, sometimes you see some court processes being filed and you're wondering who is this lawyer that is doing all of this? But, you know, court is court. Things have to arrive there. So in terms of litigation, quality of litigation, that's on one hand. The other part is, from those of us who are outside looking in, well, it looks like every NBA is either pandering towards the government or is really playing, you know, the advocacy against, you know, policies of government. Where should the NBA sit at every material time when it comes to its relationship with government as against defending the people?
Geoff, it's not always all the time that government is wrong. There are cases where government is right. So I do not see, I wouldn't want an MBA that would just be antagonistic to government. Oh yes, because you want, you know, populist love, and then you just be antagonistic. Mind you, there are members of the bar also who are in government, attorney generals also. They want to see a neutral MBA that will be able to look the government in the eyes, where whenever they are wrong, to say, government, you are wrong here, and we are not going to stand down. We are not just going to defend the interest of the bar, we're also going to defend the interest of the voiceless Nigerians. So that's the kind of MBA we want to see. And we've seen a lot of women, you know, remember in Nigeria, remember the Oluko era, some cookies who stood not just for women, but for the downtrodden. We want to see that, you know, in the MBA. We want to see, you know, not just lawyers filing public interest matters. We also want to see the MBA take up public interest matters for and on behalf, you know, of the country. But I think she can do it, and I believe she'll be able to do it. It's a huge responsibility, and it's massive. It's not just it's not a tea party, and that's why sometimes I just laugh. This fight, this leadership that they are all fighting over, you would think that you just, you know, get there, you sit down, you'll be sleeping every day. The moment you become MBA president, your practice will suffer. I won't even bother. I won't try it, because your practice will suffer. In fact, you practically live in the air. Today you are in Ibadan. Tomorrow you are in Kafancha. The after you are in Warri. You know, so your life is scattered. Your family, you have been nominated, mortgaged by your family to the bar. So your life now is a public life. No sleep, nothing. When there is crisis in Kaduna, they will call you 12 a.m. You know. So it is not something that it's not a tea party, like I have said. But I think that with the right tools, with the right people, you know, with the various committees, you know, she would be able to delegate and then achieve, you know, much more. What I want to see done, the remuneration of lawyers is very poor. But now you have a lot of young lawyers who are saying, look, my mental health is more important to me. So a lot of them are even leaving practice. There's need also for the MBA to collaborate with the Nigerian Law School. Afa Musigwe started the continuous education program. There's need to take that from the law school. The essence of bringing the continuous education program was to ensure that the quality of lawyers and the quality of documents you see, like Geoff referred to. But at the same time, there's need to collaborate with the courts, the judiciary, to ensure that lawyers are sanctioned also for frivolous matters. And then this idea of, as lawyers, one thing, it might be unimportant, it might be mundane, but the quality of dressing, sometimes we see in court, is also very important. Very important. You see a lawyer wearing a white shirt with brown collars and the rest, you know. So, but by and large, she has a manifesto, and one of them is to reduce the cost of to invest, for MBA to invest, you know, create investment, so that the cost of the what do you call it, the annual gathering would be reduced drastically, especially for young lawyers who are not earning so much. There's need to address, by recommendation in addressing the salaries and the payment of young lawyers, is also to make it a point of duty, mandatory. If a young lawyer is handling a brief, there should be a percentage of fee from that money to that young lawyer. That way, you encourage them to learn more, and also there'll be Afe Babalola does it. Some senior lawyers do it also. And if we do it that way, that will encourage people to go into practice and litigation, knowing fully well that matters you handle, you certainly get something from it. It's
an important outline that you lay out for the president-elect of the NBA, and some would say not to talk of the 4,000 to 6,000 lawyers that are called to the bar annually in the country amid very, very few employment opportunities. So it will take a very dogged NBA, and creative one at that, to create opportunities for the young lawyers that are called to the bar every day to get, the very critical employment that they need. We must anchor at this point, and thank you very much, Mr. Libros Oshomah, for coming to give us an insight into how the election played out, and of course to the workings of that very prestigious organization as well. Mr. Libros Oshomah is a legal practitioner. Thank you for coming on the program.
My pleasure always, Bukola.